Hey Stampin' friends, welcome back to Raise Create Cards. And I told you in my last video I wanted to revisit the Leaves of Holly. Still had a few ideas, and in this video, are we going to get to all of them? No, we're not, but I have 4 cards laid out. Let's see if we can get through all of them very timely. Now, I did bring in a couple of other stamp sets to use with these 4 cards. So we do have the Leaves of Holly that we are featuring, also the Holly Berry dies that go with the Leaves of Holly. We are also going to be using sentiments out of the Hope and Peace stamp set. Love it. On one of them, we're going to use some sentiments from the Sweet Candy Canes, and there is one in which we are only going to use this poinsettia, and there's the middle of the poinsettia, just on the inside of a card. But honestly, with the holly and everything that's in here, this also can tie in very nicely with the Leaves of Holly. I've got a little bit of tea sitting over to the side in case I need to get a drink, because we've got 4 cards to get through. I did do the die cutting in advance. I'm just going to set these right here because I'm sure I'm going to be needing to refer to them as we go. All right, the very first card that I designed was actually to have a male version of a card. And so this is the one that I did. And on the inside, I did not do the traditional layers, but I will be telling you what these sizes are as we get to it, okay? All right, so I have got all my bits and pieces. I have a very vanilla card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Here are inside pieces, and we'll get to that in just a moment. I have a piece of soft suede cardstock, and this is cut at 4 1/8 by 5 1/8, just to have a skinny border. And I don't know if you can tell, I did emboss this with their current Timber 3D embossing folder. Okay, don't know if that was readily apparent to you when I showed you my sample card. And we are just going to start putting this together. So I hope everyone has been having a really good week. All right, so now I'm looking at this, trying to figure out which side I want to use. And I don't guess it really matters. Both sides are really pretty. But it has been a really good week here. I'm enjoying the milder temps. I hope wherever you are too. Most of us have really dealt with a lot of heat, maybe a lot of extra humidity this summer. And so I think we are all going to enjoy getting a little respite from that as we start to navigate into fall. Here in Tennessee, we have some wildflowers that bloom just this time of the year. We have the ironweed, which is a tall, beautiful purple flower. It is a native plant to the Americas, and it's so pretty to see. And then we have one, and I'm not real sure that it's goldenrod because its growth habit is not like a goldenrod, but if I figure out what it is, I'll take a picture of it and upload it for you guys. All right, so in the last video, the last card we did, I wasn't real sure what that die was for. This one right here. After I made the video, I immediately came back in here and I was playing again. Well, I figured it out, guys. I hadn't played with it enough, I guess, when we did that last card, but it's made to actually go right under there. Isn't that neat? All right, and you guys probably knew that even before I did. And so we're just gonna go ahead and get that put on there. And let me show you something else I did different. You know how it cuts out that skinny little piece right there to leave it open? I taped it in on this one. I took a little bit of Scotch tape and just enough to catch the edge of that tiny little piece, and it gives it a totally different look. Now, I didn't do that on all my cards that I use tonight, but yeah, I did it on that one. And we're just going to add little tiny bits. This is a fairly new glue bottle, so if I can just get a tiny bit, oops, see, sometimes that's easier said than done. I usually have a better time if I just try to put little dots on there. Okay, so last Wednesday when I was at work, one of my homes away from home, whether I like it or not, is self-checkout. Now, I enjoy customer service. That is my favorite part of the job. Always has been, and even after 18 years of working in retail, it is still my favorite part of the job. And I was standing there, and while I didn't exactly see it happen, I heard it and I knew immediately what was going on. A bird evidently was in the store, thought it was going to fly out. The exit door, it actually did pick the right door to try to fly out of. And maybe the door shut, maybe, you know, it was a reflection, whatever. He hit that door pretty hard. It was, you know, just a sparrow, but still, it was a bird. And it hit and immediately bounced to the floor, stunned. I ran over. We're not really supposed to leave self-checkout for any reason, but I had a helper with me, and so I immediately ran over and started to gently scoot him with my foot toward the open door. And about that time, my coworker came up behind me with a big piece of paper towel and said, "Here, use this." And so I was able to scoop the little thing up, and I took him through the lobby, through the outer door, and we had a stand there that had plants on it for the fall, and I just kind of scooped him up and laid him up underneath there. And I didn't get off work until, oh, it was probably a good 3 hours later. And I made sure to go back out that same door to see if the little thing had revived and flown away, because when he hit, there was a little spot of blood on the floor. And so I was so afraid that perhaps maybe he had done some major damage. So the paper towel was still there, and I thought, well, is he in there or not? And so I took off the paper towel, and the poor little thing, I guess, didn't know it was okay, that it was free to leave its temporary little protection. I left him covered with a paper towel because we all know, you know, children are curious, and anybody had seen it, you know, while it was still stunned, they could have inadvertently done some damage. And I wanted that little bird to have the best chance it could have. And he was still under there. And I thought, oh, you poor thing. And about that time, he flew up and away. I jumped back because when he went, he went. And it was like, okay, yay, good to know he's okay. Made me really happy. And I thought, okay, so, you know, and Wednesday was a really good day. That wasn't the only thing that happened. That was a positive. But, you know, a word of thanks to God that I was able to be used for one of his little creatures. You know, God cares for everything he created, and even more so for his people, right? So that was the thing that kind of kept going through my mind, that God takes care of even the birds. How much more is he going to take care of us, right? Anyway, I just thought I would pass that on. And I didn't even think to try to come up with a cute little joke or anything for anybody tonight. I just thought we might concentrate on these cards. And I know that sometimes it may be really hard to come up with cards for the guys. Now, could this also be given to a female? Well, yes, it could. You know, you take somebody who's a real nature lover, maybe a tree hugger like I am. Absolutely. Okay, so on the outside of this, in the Leaves of Holly, we have this and joy piece. And so I pre-mounted peace and joy on there. And because this cardstock is soft suede, I wanted to stamp this in soft suede as well. Am I still in camera? I'm still in camera. And so let's get this ready. Let's ink this up and stamp this. I'm just going to move that to the side for the minute. Get this up here where I know you can see it, and get it up here where it's straight. And I may have a chance to get this straight, we hope, if I can hold my mouth right. And I'm not being really particular with how high up or how far down on this tag that I put it, but there we go. That came out pretty well. And I gotta tell you, it took me a little bit of practice, not a whole lot. I had the piece and the ampersand already mounted. My joy was too close the first time I went to do this, but I was able to just move the joy down, and hopefully that's spaced relatively well. Okay, let's put this to the side. Now for the inside of a card, I wanted to put, may know in Christ, bring you peace for today, hope for tomorrow, and joy in every season. And that's going to go on the inside of the card. So I'm going to get this and kind of line it up as straight as I can get it. Okay. And I don't know, guys. I've had so many ideas going through my head for so many different kinds of cards. But I gotta tell you, now that, you know, we have done all of these Christmas cards here lately, I am really yearning to get into the Thanksgiving cards. Thanksgiving was always my favorite holiday. All right, look at that beautiful, beautiful fonts that they have mixed together. Isn't that pretty? I'm loving it. And I love what it says. All right. Clean my stamp off real quick. And I promise you, I will try to get through all of this as quickly as I can so that you are not sitting here for very long. Let's go ahead and start putting some of our pieces together. And I'm going to show you, you'll notice I have two things of berries sitting here. And I'm going to hold them up close to the camera here in just a minute and let you see how I used two different colors of ink and got two different looks. And that way there, you can decide, if you decide to redo this card, replicate it, you can decide whether or not you want to use real red or cherry cobbler for your berries. The difference is kind of subtle, but it is a difference. Okay, let's put a little bit of glue right here. I'm going to put the glue on the smaller branch. And again, that is in our Leaves of Holly set. And we're just going to kind of lay one on top of the other. Doesn't bother me that you can see one of the branches. May have to hold that for just a second. That kind of holds together just enough to put glue. Oh my heavens. Don't turn it off. All right, let me see if I can brighten this back up. Oh, there we go. We're in the light again. Oh my heavens. I'm sorry, guys. I've got a really good light system for the most part, but it's very, very touchy. And if my hand touches it, I had my glue over there too close to it, so I'm just going to move that in a little closer. Well, let's not do that again. Sorry about that. All right, and then I just put those little branches over. There we go. And so now here's our inside. And we're going to go ahead and just glue that in. And I didn't even tell you the dimensions on this, okay? So the soft suede layer is 3 1/16 by 5 3/8. And the very vanilla is 2 7/8 by 5 1/8, okay? Looks like I may be shedding. My manicure's been taking a real hit today. Like I said, it's been a really good week, and today was card class for the card ministry at church, and those of us who were able to make it had a really good time, and hopefully everyone left being able to come away with a couple of new techniques and some new ideas for card making themselves. All right, guys, let me get a little adhesive eraser because I got a little something there. There we go. Now it's off. Okay, so now we have the inside, and let's go ahead and start putting this one together. And I only did the 2 leaves because, honestly, here's your third little grouping. And so I'm just going to kind of lay them down. Doesn't have to be exactly like my other card at all. Let me lay that there. Let's see how that looks. Okay, not too bad. All right. Let's just go ahead and start gluing these down. Sort of, kind of. I think I must have some glue on my fingernail. Gee, that never happens to you guys, does it? Okay. We're just going to get enough on here. Being mindful it's going on a textured background, so we do want enough to make sure it lays down. And I had that somewhere right in there. That's not bad. That's pretty good. And then we have this one arcing the other way. And so after I made my cards, my version of them, and I did them yesterday, some of my ideas, not all of my ideas, but some of them, I got online, went to YouTube, and was looking to see what some other demonstrators had done with this same set. And guys, I was just so amazed at all the beautiful, wonderful creativity that is out there. And I was just so impressed. I mean, they were beautiful. But we all kind of have our own little vision for this kind of stuff, don't we? All right, I think I've got that laying okay. And let me hold these up real close. Well, if I can get a hold of it. All right, so I've used Cherry Cobbler cardstock. And on this one, I did the real red ink on the Cherry Cobbler, okay? You may not be able to notice. And then on this one, I used Cherry Cobbler ink on the Cherry Cobbler, and I kind of think it has a little bit more definition in the berries. So I'm going to elect to use this. However, you know, we're all different. We have different tastes. You may like how the real red looks on the Cherry Cobbler, which honestly I was impressed it showed up that well, right? But I'm really liking that tone on tone with that Cherry Cobbler on Cherry Cobbler. And so I am going to use this one. And instead of putting my berries under to where they're peeking out, I am actually going to lay them on top for this card. Hold that just a second there. All right. So here, guys, is card number 1. Now, I had not realized, I mean, as much as I try to stay caught up on everything, I didn't realize these metallic pearls were retired, and I've been using them in videos. I used them in my last video. I'm going to go ahead and use them on this card. But I actually went and I looked, and in the mini holiday catalog, they gave us something actually a little bit better. They're called brushed metallic dots, okay? They actually have 3 colors, including bronze. I'm really excited. Yours truly will be ordering those. I never want to use any, whoops, come on, get back over here. I never want to use anything in my videos that you can't order, okay? That's not fair to you. How frustrating if you see something and you want it and you go, oh, well, you can't get it. That's retired. They don't offer it anymore. Okay, guys, so here we go. Here is the one we just did, and here is my original. Pretty close, maybe a little bit different, okay? And, of course, on the inside, it's all the same, but I'm loving that verse. And I really liked having that skinnier panel on the inside. It was just something a little different, and these are great for the guys. It's not real fussy. Yes, it's okay to give the guys a little bit of bling. They like stuff like that too, right? All right, so card number 2, you may either really love it or you may either really hate it, okay? So I decided to go with non-traditional colors, and I had been thinking about using Coastal Cabana and Bermuda Bay with a touch of Real Red for a while, and I finally put it together. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but I used the Quatrefoil 3D embossing folder for the background on this. It may be kind of surprising because it's not necessarily a Christmas or a winter theme. And I'm sorry, I lied. It's not a 3D. It's a regular embossing folder. But I love it. I haven't got to use it enough. And I thought, you know, I think that just adds a little touch of elegance. So let's go ahead and recreate this card. On the inside, I put that really pretty Merry Christmas that comes from, which one did that come out of? Is that Sweet Candy Canes? Nope, it actually came out of Hope and Peace. And so there it is. There is a Merry Christmas. Very beautiful font. Love it, love it. All right, let's put that to the side. I've got my piece of Real Red ribbon. And so my card base again, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And here's all my little pieces pre-done. And on the outside, this is going to be a landscape card. And before we attach this, I want to put the ribbon around it. And do I have my Scotch tape? I do. All right, I'm just going to use a little bit of Scotch tape to secure this on either end. Let me kind of get that somewhat in the middle. Let's come down just a titch. There we go. All right, let me turn this over. Tape this down. Hopefully it tapes it, not me. Okay, get another little piece of tape here. To me, using Scotch tape is just so much easier than trying to use glue dots or anything, and especially when you have some sheer ribbon. Now, this is retired, okay? What they have offered us this year is a more solid red, and it's a beautiful red ribbon. Did I think to even order any? No, I did not. So, yours truly is knowingly showing you something. Now, we had this sheer red ribbon last year, and some of you may also have this sheer red ribbon. By all means, use what you have, guys. Just use what you have. I've actually got a couple of rolls of this, and so waste not, want not, right? My apologies for deliberately using something that was retired, because I'm certainly doing that. I'm just going to kind of give that a good press. There we go. Hold that for just a second. And while I'm making sure that is adhering, we are going to go ahead and stamp on the inside. Let me get my real red ink pad here. So here is your color scheme in a nutshell. Coastal Cabana, Real Red, Bermuda Bay. And I'm going to stamp my inside sentiment. In Real Red. Okay, that looks pretty good. My straight here, kind of, sort of. When I was doing my sample card, my initial card, as I was playing with this, I went to stamp a holly leaf on the inside, and I had stamped it off, but my hand jerked, moved, whatever. As you can tell, I didn't quite get all of that holly leaf. Is that going to keep me from sending that to someone? Absolutely not. All right, so we have got this, and because red can take just a hot minute to dry, I want to make real sure we're not going to smear that. So I'm going to go back now to the outside of the card. I've got to clean that red off of that stamp. That is an accident waiting to happen. Am I clean? I'm clean. I'm going to put that to the side. Okay. Now I'm still going to get my red back out because I want to stamp. I used, and you may be familiar with it, it's called the double oval punch. And so the big oval I cut out of the Bermuda Bay. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. You know what? I didn't punch this out. I didn't punch the little one out. Let me grab a little piece of Coastal Cabana. Oh my heavens. All right, let me get a scrap out of my paper pack here. Here we go. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize I had done that. See, it just pays to be really careful. All right, let's get that punched out. There we go. And now I've got this one and this one that I can use on another project. And guys, I love to come into my craft room and get out just a bunch of scraps and then just start trying to use them. And on the front of this, I want to stamp with Love and Hope, which came from, again, Hope and Peace with Love and Hope. Yep, can you tell I'm kind of loving that? Kind of. Oh, goodness. It's a beautiful, beautiful sentiment set. Beautiful. And you know, it's stuff like this that I will keep in my collection. Now, let me look at this. Okay, I'm going for the gold. And hopefully we'll get it. If not, I'll flip it over and we'll do it again. There we go. Yay, it came out. I'm loving the fonts. There's more than one kind of font in here, and I'm loving all of them. And I hope you get this set, or if you've been on the fence about that set, that you decide to get it. So very versatile. All right, so we are done with that. I'm going to put that to the side. And we are done with that one. At this point, let's just go ahead and start gluing our pieces together. I've got one more thing I've got to do to the ribbon. I was going to make another card with a piece of that real red sheer ribbon, and rather than cut a small piece, I am just going to go ahead and use the piece I had cut. Even though this is way too long, I don't need all this, But I'm simply just going to run it up over here to the side and try to carefully, neatly tie a faux bow. Just going to tie a knot. There we go. You want to tie it too tight, but just enough to where that kind of lays down. And let me get my ribbon scissors. I just keep a little piece of twine on mine that I have in mind for my ribbon scissors. I don't use these on paper or anything else. And I don't want it real long. Okay. And I'm not going to throw these away because I can still use these, okay? I can take a little piece of twine and tie up in the middle of that and make a neat, unusual looking bow. Yep, sure can. All right, so now I've got that part there. And now we need to start getting these glued together. And I don't know, what do you guys think about using these non-traditional colors? And I was going to try to design one that used maybe some pinks and purples. I ran out of time, had that class to get ready for today. And of course, I always feel like I'm taking everything except the kitchen sink when we have a class. But I try to foresee every possible need that crafters just might have. And everybody's different, sees everything different. But I think they had fun doing their own designs. They had 2 or 3 different stamp sets to pick from. And a whole lot. I took that set, Charming Sentiments, with the matching dies to give them even more options. We had different colors of cardstock, different colors of DSP. I mean, we had a lot going on today. We really did, and it was just so much fun. The class that I had last Saturday was with a different group of people, had a couple of new people there, and man, they really enjoyed our class that day. So it's refreshing, and it's great to know that your efforts are appreciated. And so yeah, I enjoyed it. They enjoyed it. Awesome. All right, I guess because it's toward the end of the day, the sun is already going down outside. It's only about 8:15 in the evening here in East Tennessee, but it's already dark outside. I'm going to miss being able to sit outside during the winter, and I'm really going to miss being able to just sit and listen to the insect life and all that kind of thing. So I'm going to want this going about like so. It doesn't have to be perfectly that way. Let's go ahead and get some glue put down. And again, being mindful, this is kind of a new glue bottle. I'm trying not to press very hard. There we go. Lay that down here where it's kind of sweeping up to that corner. We're going to press that down for just a second. Okay. All right, and we're going to get started on this one. And I hope I'm not moving too slow for you guys. I've got to tell you, I am a little bit tired. Once I got home and we ate, and eventually I did go running out to the car and started hauling all that stuff in. And my sweet, sweet husband, who had manicured the lawn today, so he did all the mowing, and we have quite a bit of area that has to get mowed. And so he mowed, and he weed eated, and he did the trimming with the push mower in areas where it's too big to weed eat, but you can't get the riding mower into. And then he went back with the big mower with the grass catcher to get all that grass up. And I so appreciate it when he did that. And then he was able to, I think I'm going to have to get my putty tool out. I really do. He left me a little load of grass clippings out by the composter so that I can put that in there and build up my composter a little bit. I hope. I've had this composter. It's a tumbler. Ooh, careful. I've had it for quite some time. Hadn't really thought a whole lot about using it in the last 2 or 3 years. And decided this year, yes, I am. I am going to go ahead and start composting, because the prices of some of this stuff is just like, it's getting outrageous, isn't it? It's horrible. All right, so here on this end, on the top side, I've got my Coastal Cabana in the middle, and I have Bermuda Bay on both sides. On the bottom, I reversed it. I put a little bit of Bermuda Bay right in the middle, right here, coming down. And then I will have the Coastal Cabana on either side. Yes, I have glue on my fingers. I may have to stop and get that off somehow. All right. So it looks like a hot mess as we're putting this one together. It does. Looks like a hot mess. There we go. But it will come together when we put our sentiment and our berries over the top. And as you can tell, I'm not adding just slathers of glue. I'm not. And I wish I was being able to do a live with you so that we, let's see, do I want to pop this up with dimensionals? I did not. I just glued them flat down. So just on basic white cardstock, I stamped the berries with real red. I didn't even use the shadow die because I thought that looked really good all by itself. And we're just going to kind of glue that. That kind of holds together where all of that met and kind of covers that up. And I think I did dimensionals on this. But I'm just going to go ahead and glue this one down flat. No big deal. All right, so as we've been standing here or sitting and chatting, that has all come together except for the inside. So I need to get that in there, and we are done with card number 2. Awesome. Am I a traditionalist? Yes, I pretty much am. I try not to be, and I thought that this Bermuda Bay Coastal Cabana in Real Red made a very pretty card. I thought it came together really well. Yeah, I may have to stop and get just a quick sip of something here. All right. There we go, guys. So what do you think? So here's this one, and here's my original one. They're pretty close together. All right. And the only difference is I'm not going to do the stamping off and the holly leaf on the inside, although you certainly could if you wanted to. And I may, after the video, go back and do just that. All right, card number 3 is very definitely more traditional. And it's got a little bit more blingy going on with it so that it was not too dark of a card. On the inside, there's my sentiment, and there is the poinsettia and the middle stamp that came out of Merriest Moments. And we're going to put that together real quick. So the card base on that one is Real Red, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I have a white layer that's 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to go ahead and just lay that down on the outside. I'm going to try to kind of speed this up a little bit so that we're not keeping this video too long. Here we go. If I can see to kind of put this down. I'm so used to working with skinny borders, sometimes doing the traditional is a challenge for me. So there we go, we've got that down. And I have a piece of that Boughs of Holly DSP. And we're just gonna lay that down on the front. This side is really pretty too. And I, wouldn't mind using it, but I decided I would go with the poinsettias. And here we go. Am I straight all the way around? I think so. Somehow, some way, I can see it. You may not be able to on the video, but I can see a little hint of glue right there. And I'm going to get that off. There we go. I think I have it. All right. Yeah, we're good. We're good right there. Okay, so on the inside, we are going to stamp the sentiment. Wishing you lots of love, joy, and happiness. And here we go. I lost it. I lost it. Y'all never do that in your craft room, do you? Have something like you had it a few seconds ago, and you're looking around, you're going, oh my heavens, I just had that. Okay. Earlier, as I was getting ready and making sure I was prepped for all of this, I was looking for my Mossy Meadow ink pad. Now, I had taken that with me today to the class. It was one of the colors that I had taken. And I knew that all of my stuff was packed up, that I came home with everything, right? Could I find it? I couldn't find it. And so I went back through everything, even though I pretty much already had everything put away. I went back through and oops, not so fast. I got to do the poinsettia. And did I pre-mount that on a block? Probably not. Nope, I didn't. I'm telling you, people, you got to watch me. All right, let me get hopefully a kind of clean block. Well, it's seen better days. It needs a bath. But that's all right. We're going to go ahead and get that stamped. Oh, man. And I was searching everywhere, and I thought, I know I didn't leave anything behind. So, of course, it's always in the last place you look, right? And I went one more time back over to my little caddy that I keep all of my ink pads in. And there it was. Even though I had looked, I don't know, 2 or 3 times and couldn't find it. There it was. Oh my goodness, that's so funny. I thought, am I the only one? And I mean, it can really make you feel like an idiot, right? It's like, oh my heavens, I can't believe that. All right, I'm going to lay that back in there. And then I want that itty bitty stamp for the middle. And taking the DSP as my cue, I'm going to use Shaded Spruce. And just overlook my dirty blocks, guys. I'm so sorry. See, I just thought I had everything together, but I didn't. All right, and so there's the middle of that. I'm going to put this up if I can keep my fingers out of it. I have had more ink on me in the last few days, but hey, I think that's kind of good for the soul, isn't it? Having inky fingers, inky hands. Absolutely. Now that is such a tiny stamp. Terrified I will lose it. And so, all right, we're good. We're good. And put that to the side. All right, onward and upward. Okay, I have a problem. Oh, it's a glue booger. Do I have any more? I do. That is not a good thing to have. So we're going to get rid of the problem. That's what I get for not being in a habit of using my glue mat, right? Stampin' Up! Gives us these awesome silicone glue mats. And yours truly needs all the help she can get to keep from making a righteous mess. Heavens. All right. Onward and upward. Okay. Oh, another bit of glue right there. I'm thinking at this point it is starting to roll off my hands. And you know, I wash my hands just minutes before coming in here to start this video. However, dirt and glue love each other, don't they? They absolutely do. And if I didn't tell you guys, this inside piece and the outside white piece was cut at 4 by 5 1/4, traditional. And the DSP was cut by 3 3/4 by 5. Sorry about that. Really got to kind of do better with that. And I have 2 of the detailed large leaves and 1 of the small ones. And let's just kind of lay these down here. About like that, and about like that. Now, should I have used my sticker sheets? Absolutely should have. Did I think about it? I absolutely didn't. And I guess in order to get in a habit of using those, I'm just going to have to plop them up here in my face. You know the old saying, out of sight, out of mind? Well, I kind of tend to be that way. Out of sight, out of mind. All right, we got that one. And there is no, particular place. You just kind of figure out when you get ready to design your card, you may only want to use 1 leaf. You may only want to use 2. You may not want to use any. You might do something totally different with your card. And that is awesome. I do have a Facebook group called Heartful, Heartful Stampers. Anyone is welcome to join. You do not have to be pre-approved. And absolutely, if you would like to share your creations that you make, like I'm having a really hard time getting people to want to share what they're doing. And guys, I know y'all are out there busy creating and putting together some wonderful things. And so absolutely share that. I should have put a little bit of glue on those. All right, guys, I'm going to bring in something that is contraband. It is not Stampin' Up. But I need this tiny little nozzle just so I can get a little bit of glue in there. A little bit. Just enough to where these will hold down. Yep, I got it on there. All right. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. There we go. Let me hold that down for just a second. Okay. So some of you may know, if you've been watching my videos, I actually tried once upon a time using the glue, the fine tip glue that Stampin' Up! Gave us. And I don't know. I ended up throwing the bottle away because I couldn't get the hang of keeping it unclogged. So it was so tiny. And at the time, I didn't even think about using a straight pen to go down into that tip. And so after it taking monumental effort, not once, not twice, but 3 times to get that thing unclogged, I said, that's it, I'm done. It was so frustrating, and I threw it away. Is that a reflection on Stampin' Up? No, it is not. It was a reflection on me and my ineptness in using that fine tip glue. Because let me tell you something, and you may not know this, if you have got that fine tip glue, it has a wonderful property, and that you can take that glue and apply it, say you wanted to put it over this sentiment, you could apply it over it, and when it dried, it would be glossy, not sticky, and it would just give that pop of shine to whatever you put that glue on. So there's your little tip if you didn't know that. And there's been many a time I wished, you know, so I guess I just need to go back and order some more of that and try it again, right? Because when I was into that, I was just starting to get my feet wet with card making. That was then, this is now, so I definitely need to go back and revisit that and see if I can't do, hopefully, a little bit better, okay? Tombow, I love my Tombow. It is so strong, and I know I can depend on it. But it is really sticky if you get it on you, and so, yeah, anyway. All right, I am going to put this kind of right here in the middle. Again, we are covering up where all of those stems kind of merged. We're covering up the egg. So there we go. And I do. So on my original card, let me bring that in. On my original card, I actually tied a little bow and put there. But I had this too laying to the side, thinking I was going to maybe throw it away because it was, I mean, look at it, guys. It's kind of funny looking. But I don't think I'm going to throw that away. I am going to get a glue dot. Did I have them out? No, I didn't. Okay, let's get a glue dot. Let me get my pokey tool, my take your pick tool. And the reason why my glue dots are the old way is because I actually rewound it. Okay, if I can talk. Heavens to Betsy. I rewound it so that I could continue to use them the way I was used to using them. The new way, I mean, is not especially bad. I'm going to put one more on there. We're going to use 2. But, you know, sometimes it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. It just is. All right, I'm going to kind of finagle that on there, not in any certain way. I just want that coverage. And then I'll plop that down right there. Right there. Yep, right there. And glue dots are awesome because they are instant. But, like I said, I was thinking about throwing it away, and I got to looking at it, and I thought, well, now, wait a minute, I've got a curve. That's kind of curved. I think it'll work. And so what do you think? It's not the bow, but I think it'll work. All right. There's the original. Here's this one. Now, I did, at this point, realize that those metallic pearls were retired. And so, I'm going to get out. I'm not sure how this is going to look. It's not really a gold, but our champagne rhinestones. And I'm going to take, well, there's part of a glue dot still. I am going to take the small ones and I'm going to put them right in the middle of some of the poinsettias. I'm not just going to go hog wild. I'm just going to do 3 that are showing on the DSP. It's a very subtle look, a very subtle touch. There we go. So what do you think? Can you see that? In real person, you can see it a whole lot better. All right, so there we go. Card number 3. One more card, and we are in the home stretch, guys. Yay! All right. So here is card number 4. Again, it is kind of simple. It is great for a guy or anyone that is on your Christmas card list. It's really simple. It's easy to put together. And again, I use that Hope and Peace set and for the sentiments. And the Merry Christmas comes from the Hope and Peace as well. The Christmas cheer came from Candy Canes. So the card we just did, I'm so sorry, guys. Christmas cheer is what I used on the front of this one. And wishing you lots of love, joy, and happiness is what we used on the inside. And that did come from the Sweet Candy Canes, okay? Just kind of give things a little bit of a different something. All right, so we're going to put this one together, and I've got all my handy-dandy little pieces here. Again, regular card base out of Rural Red, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I have an inside piece of Mossy Meadow that is 4 by 5 1/4. Going to go ahead and pop that in there. And nothing is textured, so it's not going to take as much glue. And here we go. All right, yours truly being used to them skinny borders. I don't think I'm doing too bad. I hope not. Okay, and on the inside of this one, what did I put? Yes, wishing you the hope and peace of Christ. And we're going to do that in Mossy Meadow. Here is that little ink pad I was looking for, hard and heavy, and it was under my nose the whole time. Yeah, I thought it was funny. I had to laugh. I had to laugh at myself. Yeah, we have to do that sometimes, right? All right, that looks pretty good there. And hopefully I get it straight. Hopefully I get it centered. And it's a tiny bit uphill. Tiny bit. I'm good with it. I'm going with it. And I would not hesitate to send that to someone. I would not. I think I'm running out of my stamping mist and my stamping scrub. Give me just a second here, guys. We're going to get that put away. Okay, that one is clean. Got a few soap suds on it, but it's clean. All right. And we're going to go ahead and glue that in, and we will be done with the inside. And this card is definitely easy enough that you could mass produce. Absolutely you could. All right, so here is that on the inside. There we go. And lay this over. Now, this is also cut at, well, I meant to cut it at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That looks like 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Hang on. Let me trim that down because I do want it at 4 by 5 1/4. That was my original design, and that's what I meant to do that at. So just very quickly make a couple of cuts. Okay, now we're at 4 1/4. Yes, 4 by 5 1/4. Yes. All right, let's get that put down. And guys, if y'all have this distressed gold paper, or if you're thinking of getting it, don't hoard it. Use it. It's beautiful paper. I am actually on my last sheet of it, and I don't regret the way I've used it. I don't regret it at all. It's just beautiful. I've done a lot of die cutting out of this. I don't mind using it for a whole layer. It's like spread the joy, right? Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with using that big old piece and being proud of it. All right, so out of Pear Pizzazz, I cut the circle. This is the largest circle out of the stylish shape dies, okay? So I used that largest circle, die cut it, and then again, I went back to that timber embossing, 3D embossing folder, and I just embossed that. I don't know if you can, how much detail you can pick up on. And it is Pear Pizzazz. And I'm just going to kind of pop that down in the middle. Here we go. I'm just going to pop that down right there. Kind of the same side to side, up and down as far as my borders go. If it's not perfect, that's okay. I don't think anybody's going to be looking at it that hard. Now, here's this label again, and this time I didn't keep that little skinny piece But if you remember, on the very first card we did, I kept that little skinny piece in. And so it's just a different look. This was die cut out of Mossy Meadow, and I did heat emboss it with our gold embossing powder. Again, the Merry Christmas, and that came from, it came from the Hope and Peace, okay? And I've got this little piece cut, and we're going to, out of Pear Pizzazz, and we're going to back it behind the Mossy Meadow right there. And let me get this. All right, girl. All right. Don't be putting it on the wrong place. Here we go. Just a little bit. I just need it to hold together. Doesn't have to be solid glued. There we go. That should be enough to hold that to the other layer. Pick this up. Put this back here. Line this up best I can. All right, there we go. We're good. Kind of hold on to that for just a second. All right, and then we're going to take this and glue it down. Oh, my glue bottle's getting all dirty. I actually cleaned it before I started the video. I promise you I did. I really did. And I'm going to try to attempt to get the tiniest little bit of glue. I just need enough to hold it down. Just enough. There we go. And of course, yours truly, and I love using my tweezers. Did I even think to? Why, no. Why, no. All right. There we go. That's kind of in the middle of that circle. It may not perfectly be in the middle of that circle, but it's okay. Don't stress yourself out, guys, when you're getting ready to do this. Okay. Here are these wonderful textural elements that are also in our mini catalog. And let me see, which end do I want to use? I think I was using the brush end before. Yep, brush end is faster. And I'm using the dark Real Red stamping blends. And I just prefer using the brush end. I think it's faster. And what I'm loving about this, and I don't know if you can see it, I'll hold it up closer to the camera just as soon as I'm done. Because these are cut out of real wood, you will have striations and natural tones in the wood that will come through the colors that you decide to color it. And it's awesome. I love it. Now, my husband is a wood crafter. Extraordinaire. Anything he decides to do, he can do very well. Oh, my heavens. Do you see that poor little thing? Poor little thing. Well, okay. It looks like it may be time to replace my dark Mossy Meadow. Well, okay. Let me get my light one. I'll get my light one and see if that's any better. Want the brush. Okay, well, at least it doesn't look demented. Okay, I really wanted to use the dark, but hey, you know, you use what you got, right? All right, we're going to fill this in. Let me turn this. I'm just kind of trying to make sure I don't bleed into the red. Wow. Look here, guys. Looks like I'm running out of it. Okay, so I have got a little list over here to the side where I am writing down when I realize I'm getting low on a certain color of cardstock or color of a re-inker. So yeah, yours truly is going to have to get a new set of Mossy Meadow stamping blends. Evidently, I have used these just really hard and really heavy. Okay, so you can see that these aren't really too thick, okay, and they color really well. This is not going to be as dark as the one I used on my original card, because I used the dark Mossy Meadow, and honestly, it colored it so well that it darn near looks black. Really does. So I'm just going to try to get the barest little bit of glue on my stems, but enough to do the job. It's kind of fiddly, but really it only takes a second. I'm feeling frantic to get everything wrapped up because I know your time is valuable. And for all of you who have subscribed and commented and liked my videos, thank you so much. All right, we're going back to, like I said, on card 3, I was realizing that the others were retired, and so I've defaulted to the Champagne Rhinestones. And on this one, I think I used the large. I think I did. I'm going to pop one there. We're going to pop one up here. And one right down here somewhere. There. Okay, and so here we have this one. My glue is not quite all the way dry here. That's okay. I'm going to pick up where that oozed out just a little bit. Then when it dries, you won't know. So what do you think, guys? Let's bring in all of the cards. Let me move my ink pads and blocks and all this stuff. And I'm only going to bring in the ones that we did together. Okay, so there's number 2. And here is number 3. And here is, if I can get a hold of it, here is number 1. All right, guys, I hope this all gave you some great ideas for using this set. I hope you have this set. If you don't have it, I hope you get this set. And anyway, y'all have a very, very blessed weekend. Know that you are loved. Thank you for sticking with me through this longish video. And be safe, and I will see you later. Bye.